Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we analyze your sources to bring you the precise takeaways you need on the technology driving today's corporate strategy. This is the AI Brief, episode 318.
We've got a critical stack today, looking at some really seismic shifts in global AI competition, financing pressures, and how the big players are actually defining the future of superintelligence.
Yeah, our mission is to cut straight to the core insights. We're covering three huge things right now. First, this Chinese startup, Moonshot AI, and their Kimi K2 thinking model. It's making open source suddenly look competitive right at the absolute frontier.
Which is pretty remarkable.
Then second, OpenAI's very rapid, very necessary walkback on some controversial comments about maybe needing federal financial guarantees.
That's a bit of a storm in a teacup, wasn't it? And third, Microsoft. They're setting up a major new superintelligence team, but with this surprisingly specific, almost humanist mandate.
Exactly. Let's dive into the race first because the pace is just, well, it's breathtaking.
It really is.
I want to start with something NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, said. He mentioned China being nanoseconds behind the US in AI. Now, at first, that sounds like, typical Valley hyperbole.
Right, you hear that kind of thing a lot.
But maybe it's actually true. Because the Alibaba-backed Moonshot AI just released Kimi K2 Thinking. It's an open-source reasoning model, and the waves this could make for global competition are, well, they're huge.
Yeah. Shocking might not even be strong enough for this performance, especially when you think about how open source models usually lag behind the big closed corporate ones. Kimi K2 Thinking is apparently matching, sometimes even beating, models like GPT-5 and Claude Sonnet 4.5 on some key advanced benchmarks.
Okay, so advanced benchmarks, what does that really mean for you listening? We're talking about getting a new top score, 44.9%, on something called Humanities Last Exam, or HLE.
And that's a really critical detail. HLE isn't just about remembering facts. It tests extreme multi-step reasoning across different fields. It's seeing if an AI can connect diverse knowledge to tackle problems it hasn't seen before. If Kimi's doing well there, that suggests real cognitive ability.
And functionally. It seems to be a proper agent, too. Sources say it's great at creative writing, sure, but the crucial part is it can autonomously chain together like 200 to 300 tool calls to get complex tasks done.
Let's unpack tool calls for a second. That's the AI figuring out how to use external software or APIs or data sources to achieve a goal. When a model can string together hundreds of those reliably without falling over, you're moving past simple chat. You're getting into autonomous agents that could solve serious business problems.
But here's the killer point, financially speaking. The reported cost to train this thing, this frontier-level model, under $5 million.
That right there might be the most important number in this whole story. If you can train a state-of-the-art model for less than $5 million, it just changes the game completely. It means the huge infrastructure war, the $100 billion plus spending on custom chips and data centers maybe isn't the only way to get to the cutting edge anymore.
Right.
Kimi K2's low pricing makes it a real economically sensible alternative to the current, incredibly expensive frontier models. It validates everything we've heard about the speed of Chinese labs, and frankly, it's the closest open source has ever been to challenging the top dogs on both performance and price.
That $5 million price tag really underlines that this global race is about speed and efficiency, not just throwing capital at the problem, which we can give companies dealing with massive capital needs and scrutiny. Let's pivot to OpenAI and that sudden financial walkback.
Right, this kicked off when their CFO, Sarah Friar, made some comments. She sort of hinted the company was looking for a federal backstop, maybe, to help finance their absolutely enormous infrastructure costs, basically asking the government to potentially guarantee or underwrite some of their risk.
And backstop is such a loaded term, isn't it? It immediately brings up too big to fail, which is exactly the image they're trying to fight. The reversal was incredibly fast. Fryer later had to clarify, saying she muddied the point with poor word choice.
But the stronger correction really came from Sam Altman himself. He put out a very firm public statement rejecting any idea of government guarantees or, bailouts for private AI development. He said very pointedly that OpenAI should fail if it screws up. It was a clear signal to try and calm market nerves and, frankly, probably congressional concerns about taxpayer money propping up their huge ambitions.
And the government side seemed to agree. The White House AI lead, David Sachs, quickly dismissed the bailout idea. He noted the field is so competitive now, if one big company did fail, there are others ready to step in and keep pushing forward.
The whole episode just throws a spotlight on the intense scrutiny OpenAI is under. regarding its spending and its sort of circular deal structures, forcing Altman to address it so directly, saying they don't want to be seen as too big to fail. That's a pretty defining moment as they try to manage these escalating financial needs.
So we've got market disruption from Moonshot, financial questions around OpenAI, which brings us neatly to Microsoft, who seems to be carving out a very distinct strategic path, separate even from its big partner OpenAI. Microsoft AI CEO Mustafa Suleyman just announced they're forming the MAI Superintelligence team.
And this isn't just moving boxes on an org chart. It comes with this very specific mission, which I think is what makes it really interesting. The focus isn't on this sort of open-ended general AGI quest. It's about building advanced systems to solve very specific, defined, high-impact problems.
They've even branded it Humanist Superintelligence.
Exactly. And that name tells you the mission. Prioritize AI that, quote, always works for, in service of, people and humanity more generally. They're aiming at narrow, high-impact societal challenges where AGI could deliver specific breakthroughs. The examples they gave are quite concrete, things like AI learning companions, medical superintelligence, breakthroughs in clean energy. Problems that, if you solve them, offer huge societal benefits.
And they're assembling quite the team to do it. Suleyman brought over his Inflection co-founder, Karen Simonian, as chief scientist. Plus, they've strategically hired researchers from DeepMind, OpenAI, and Anthropic.
It really feels like this announcement establishes a unique identity for Microsoft's own AGI work. It's a focused counter-narrative to the more general AGI goals you hear elsewhere. It's Microsoft basically saying, look, we're building towards this defined humanist goal independently, even with their existing OpenAI partnership still in place.
Okay, so those are the huge shifts happening right at the top. Now let's zoom out a bit and run through some of the other key AI developments you need to know about today. We can take these a little more steadily.
Absolutely. And we have to start with the big news out of Tesla. Shareholders gave a massive thumbs up to Elon Musk's huge compensation package. What's really key here is that this endorses his whole vision of turning Tesla from just a car maker into a full-blown AI and robotics company. The valuation story is now mostly about future AI.
And it's not a minor bet. Musk himself predicted that 80% of Tesla's future value, this is a trillion-dollar company we're talking about, will come just from sales of the Optimus humanoid robot. That fundamentally changes the company's identity almost overnight, from EVs to AI and robotics.
Right. Now, moving from valuation to actual product utility, Google's rolling out some significant upgrades. Their Gemini Deep Research tool can now connect directly into your work stuff. It pulls context automatically from your Gmail, your Drive docs, spreadsheets, presentations. Basically makes the AI instantly understand your personal workflow.
And they're also pushing on the access front. Google's no-code app builder, Opal, is expanding significantly. It's rolling out to over 160 countries now, letting developers everywhere build and test ideas much faster.
Circling back quickly to that China race we mentioned, Jensen Huang's statement to the Financial Times really hits different after the moonshot news, doesn't it? He specifically said China is nanoseconds behind America in AI, and then flat out stated that they are going to win the AI race. That's quite a prediction from the guy supplying the critical hardware.
Yeah, it really is. And speaking of hardware, that arms race is definitely heating up. Google's about to release its 4x faster Ironwood TPU AI chips, apparently in the coming weeks. And you can see the confidence because Anthropic has already committed to get this 1 million of these new chips to train and run their Claude models. That's a huge validation.
Definitely a massive commitment. On the assistant front, Perplexity launched an upgrade to its Comet AI assistant. They've improved web interaction and added multi-tab features for better research consolidation. They just keep iterating on that conversational search idea.
And finally, a big international move. SoftBank Group and OpenAI announced a new joint venture, SBOAI Japan. Their focus is enterprise, and they plan to launch something called the Crystal Intelligence AI Solution specifically for businesses in Japan starting in 2026. Shows OpenAI continuing to push into specific global markets.
Okay, so to round out this deep dive, let's quickly hit today's trending tools. Then are the things delivering practical value right now that you might want to check out.
All right, give us the use cases. Why should you care about these specific tools today?
First up, Kimi K2 Thinking, the model we talked so much about. The use case is clear. If you need complex agentic workflows, state-of-the-art thinking, but without the hefty price tag of the big proprietary models, Kimi is your leading open-source, low-cost option right now.
Okay. Then Gemini Deep Research. This seems crucial if you're constantly switching between your own knowledge and your AI assistant. The use case is simple: instant understanding of your work files without you having to feed it everything manually.
Then there's in-world TTS. This is for moving beyond basic text to speech. If you're building dynamic character voices, say for games, training, or media, and you need really advanced cloning, multi-language support, and crucially, emotional range, this looks state-of-the-art.
And for organizations already using AI agents, there's Parallel Search. This isn't really for human users. It's a specialized search tool designed to feed AI agents clean, structured data from the web. The idea is it makes your agents work more efficiently.
For automation, two caught my eye. Excelmatic seems perfect if you spend ages fighting with spreadsheets. It uses AI to help analyze, visualize, and even automate tasks directly within your existing data.
And Flowbot looks aimed at quick customer interaction. If you need to scale up communication, this lets you visually build complex WhatsApp automations using drag and drop, no coding needed.
For really rapid building, check out Ask Blake. Use case, super fast prototyping. It claims you can build a functional app in seconds just from one prompt. Again, no code needed, so great for quick testing of ideas.
And lastly, Arsatext. This one's about brand voice. It analyzes your existing writing to figure out your brand's unique style, its fingerprint, basically. Then it helps ensure any future AI-generated content sticks rigidly to that style.
Wow, what a range. We've covered open source models basically reaching parity, global giants restructuring completely around AGI, and this intense financial uncertainty hanging over the leader.
Yeah, the global competition is clearly fierce, the money involved is astronomical, but at the same time, the barrier to entry seems to be dropping, doesn't it? Thanks to things like Kimi K2.
Absolutely. So here's the final thought we want to leave you with today. Thinking about Microsoft's very focused humanist approach and those specific areas they mentioned, like medicine or clean energy, is it possible the next real superintelligence breakthrough comes from one of these narrow targeted applications, maybe even before the big open-ended quest for general AGI gets there?
Yeah.
And related to that, how soon will that nanosecond gap Jensen Huang talked about actually close?
The pace of everything we just discussed suggests the answer might be closer than a lot of people think. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you want to stay this informed this quickly, make sure you follow the AI brief, and please share this information shortcut with someone else who needs to know what's happening right now.
Until next time, keep learning.